heading to Costa Rica to join the Blue Zone paddle surf camp to see if I can get my form back after taking 5 years off recovering from surgeries.
Blue, you're my boy!
I have a 92-liter board waiting for me down there, but I'm bringing my 81-liter Chronos to see if I can figure out how to ride it again. On the first day, I jumped on the Chronos to see how I'd do on it. I managed to catch a few waves, which was really cool. It was a big goal of mine, but I found it quite challenging out in the lineup on it. On day 2, I wanted a more stable platform, so I switched to a custom 8.2 Infinity Beeline. The goal was to be in the right spot for the right wave and make it seem effortless dropping into a wave rather than having to scrap my way in. On days 3 and 4, I jumped on a decade-plus old custom board that the camp had on hand. It was 7.7 by 27, 92 liters. On the wave, I liked this board, but didn't love it. But it was cool to feel the difference in stability compared to my Chronos. The slight bump in size made it a little more stable. On these days, the coaches had me really paying attention to opening up the shoulders, getting a bit more front-facing, and adding some mobility to my hips. On day 5, I switched to an 8.2 Infinity Blur V2. It's similar in size to my Beeline, but has a less aggressive rocker, a stepped rail, and a more pulled-in tail. At 109 liters, I probably could have used one size smaller, but overall, I loved this board. It had great glide and the rails were nice and refined for its size. And I really liked the feel of the narrower tail set up as a thruster. For this session, I was really focusing on my backhand. The goal again was trying to open up those hips and shoulders and stay on the high line to keep the speed up. I was also focusing on keeping my front foot centered rail to rail so I wouldn't get stuck on my heel side. On day 6, the goal was to put it all together. Channel my inner Machado to catch the wave, open up the hips and shoulders on the wave, and use the high line to help generate speed. I'll be working on these goals for years to come, I'm sure, but the seeds are planted, which is pretty cool. So what did I think of the Blue Zone? I loved it.
Slow down, Tummy. You're not on the moon yet. Oh, no.
The coaches were incredible, and the video reviews were more helpful than I imagined. In fact, all of the footage in this video were recorded by Enric, the Blue Zone resident photographer. He filmed almost every wave for 5 of the 6 days we surfed. I'll leave a link to his Instagram down below. Surfing is fickle, and the right conditions can make or break a session. The camp does a really good job at lining things up to give the best chance of success when it comes to tide, wind, swell, and crowds.
Some things are so snazzy they never go out of style.
To start, they try to only run on weeks where the tides line up for a morning surf before the winds arrive. And they have 3 main spots they like to choose from depending on the size and direction of the swell. A typical day for the week I was there started with a morning coffee and some fruit at 5:45. At 6, we'd jump into a van and head for the break. We'd surf for about 2.5 hours and then back to the compound where a big hearty breakfast would be waiting for us. We'd have free time from 11 to 2, where most days we'd hang around and shoot the shit. At 2 p.m., we'd grab a snack and head in for video review, which would last anywhere from 1 to 2 hours.
There is a lesson you must learn.
If it's about laying off the insanity peppers, I'm way ahead of you.
At 4, some of us, including the coaches, would wander down to the local beach bar to chat, catch the sunset, and have a few beer. At 6, we'd walk back up to the house for a big dinner. By 8, everyone would head back to their room to chill out and settle in. This was pretty much our routine for 6 days. I thought one longer session a day was perfect. By week's end, I had a little left in the tank, but I was pretty spent. Our coaches for the week were Josu, Jake, and Rio. Between the 3 of them, they towed the perfect line between serious technical coaching and keeping things light and fun. Each day, they remind you in the water of what to be thinking about based on the previous day's video review. That kind of connection was really effective. I felt my confidence build over the week, and I left with so many things to work on. I would seriously recommend this to any beginner or intermediate hoping to up their game. My favorite thing about all three coaches is you can tell they're not mailing it in. They genuinely love paddle surfing, and they're stoked to share their stoke. Paddle surfing has a pretty bad rap out there. It's just not cool, and I get it. The demographic skews pretty strongly to 50 plus. It's kind of become the wave sport you do when you can't surf anymore. Nothing wrong with that in my books. I am 50 plus, and I can't surf anymore. This sport has filled my bucket and more. But seeing guys like Josu, Jake, and Rio do what they do out on the water and promoting the sport, it's just really cool. I really respect these guys. Another cool thing about the camp is they have a full quiver of boards you can try. I surfed 5 boards over the week, and I learned a lot about what sizes and shapes work for me at this stage. I actually realized my old 81-liter Chronos was no longer in my wheelhouse. With my compromised body and the added muscle I put on to keep it together, the 90 to 100-liter boards are just a better fit. I got to watch Josu and Rio take the Chronos out for a spin, and it was cool to see them rip on it and hear their feedback. They couldn't believe how light and responsive it was, so I ended up leaving the board down with them. I had some great years with it, but it needs to be surfed, and those guys will do it justice. YouTube thinks you should watch this video next. I think you should watch this one.